guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to finally be able to film my wisdom teeth video, which I promised you guys. As soon as I told you I was getting my wisdom teeth out, I was like, don't you worry, I'm gonna film a video talking all about it after my surgery. And honestly, I had no expectations. I had no idea what it was gonna be like, because this was actually my first time, I think, ever going under with anesthesia. So I was kind of like unsure of how I would react. So yeah, it was a lot different than I anticipated it being, but I'm gonna tell you guys about my experience. First of all, I got 2 wisdom teeth taken out, both on the bottom, and I've had them out for a week and a half now. So my stitches have fallen out and dissolved or whatever, and I'm feeling a lot better. I have like very minimal pain on the right side, like hardly anything, and I haven't taken any pain medication for probably 5 days. So let's talk about my experience. I found out I had wisdom teeth when I was getting my braces on, and honestly, if you told me that I had 0 wisdom teeth, I would have believed you, because I've never had pain from them. I've never, like, they weren't growing in or anything, but when I had my x-ray done, they basically said the way the wisdom teeth was coming in, it was coming in at an angle, and because I had braces, they wanted to get the wisdom teeth out because 1, there wasn't enough room in my mouth, and 2, if they left the wisdom teeth in there, they would have like really messed up with my teeth. And since I'd had braces for 2 years, it was kind of like, yeah, let's take them out. Then the decision came, do I want to have my wisdom teeth taken out while I'm awake but with numbing, or do I want to go under? My first thought process was, let's go under. Like, I didn't even hesitate. I wanted to go under because I'd had a really bad experience with getting my teeth taken out. I had 2 baby molars taken out when I was like 13, and it was horrible, you guys. It was awful. I think it took the doctor 2.5 hours to get the 2 teeth out of my face, and it was awful. It was bad. So basically, the day of my surgery, I wasn't allowed to eat or drink anything from like 12 o'clock at night the night before, and my surgery was at 11:30, so I was really hungry and very thirsty, and I felt very like aggravated because I just wanted to get my surgery over with so I could eat. Like, honestly, that's what I wanted. I wanted to eat. I was hungry. My surgery was actually running late, and so I didn't end up going in until like 12, and so I was like starving and just like grumpy and tired and not eating and drinking. Obviously, I was just like, get this freaking thing out of my mouth. They took me into this room, which was obviously an operating room, but it wasn't really like an operating room like in Grey's Anatomy. It was like, it looked like a regular dentist's office, but like they had like an IV and other things that they don't really have at a regular dentist's office. So I was sat down in the chair. They actually had me remove my nose ring, so if you guys have your nose pierced, that might be something they need to do. They hooked me up to an IV right away, and the nurse had a really hard time getting my vein because I was dehydrated and hungry and all that stuff. And so that was painful as frick, like actually, because she had put the needle in and then had to like kind of wiggle it around to actually get to the vein, and I was like, this hurts. I've had an IV several times in my life, never really have had any pain. So just because I was so dehydrated, it was more difficult for her to find the vein this time. But once she had it in, it was fine, not so bad. So then I had the oxygen in my nose, the IV in my arm, and then I had a little thing on my finger that was taking my heartbeat, or keeping track of my heartbeat. The nurse is kind of talking to me like, do you have any questions? Like, you know, have you ever been under anesthesia before? No, I haven't. Kind of talking about that. And then my doctor comes in, and I'd already met with him before, and he was kind of asking me about school and all that. And then he kind of casually mentions like, oh, I just put some of this, whatever it is, into your IV. And this is not an exaggeration, people. I remember saying to him, wow, I already feel it, and the rest I do not remember. Honestly, I could have done cartwheels for all I know. So anesthesia, great experience, okay, honestly. But then when I woke up, I was so disoriented, and I remember I had gauze in my mouth. I remember looking around and being like, where the hell am I? Feeling my mouth with my fingers and like not being able to feel anything. Like, I was probably numb from like here down. Like, I couldn't even feel inside my ears, which I was thankful for, don't get me wrong. So I had all this gauze in my face, and I like didn't really register the fact that I had gauze in my mouth. So the nurse comes over, she's kind of like, oh, hi Emily, you've just woken up from surgery, kind of explaining to me what just happened, and I'm trying to talk to her, like, you know, oh, like, was everything okay? Or I'm trying to like just kind of ask her questions, but she can't understand shit. So the nurse can't understand anything I'm saying. So anyways, then the doctor comes over to me and he's like, hey Emily, so how are you doing? And I'm just like staring at him, and all of a sudden I burst into tears for no reason. And he's like, oh, are you okay? Like, are you in pain? And I'm like, no, I have no idea why I'm crying. I feel like a hormonal woman. Please, someone help me. Like, honestly, I felt no pain. I felt no reason to be crying. And so the doctor's kind of like amused by the fact that I'm crying for no reason. And I'm kind of like laughing, crying with like gauze in my mouth. So I'm kind of like, ah. Very attractive, I'm sure it was my finest moment. And he's kind of like trying to explain to me like, Emily, like, it's okay. A lot of people react differently to anesthesia. I have a lot of men that actually get really like physically aggressive with me, and crying is very common too. Some people can't stop laughing, like that's very common, like don't worry, whatever. And then I come to this realization, I'm on a gurney, which, like a gurney, do you know what that is? Like a hospital bed that like rolls. So then the nurse comes back and I'm like, trying to ask her, how did I get on a gurney? Did you guys lift me? Like, I'm 100 and some odd pounds. Like, did you lift me onto this thing? Like, how did I get onto it? So I'm like very insistent. I want to know. For some fucking, I don't know why, but I really wanted to know how I got onto this bed. So I keep asking her, how did I get onto this bed? How did I get on this bed? But with gauze in my mouth, so she can't understand. So I have to repeat it like 17 times. And finally she's like, oh, well, you got on it yourself. And I was like, no, I didn't, lady. Like, you got the wrong person. I didn't do anything. I've been asleep for like what feels like forever. And she, or actually it felt like 2 seconds. And she's like, no, I asked you and you got onto it. What? That's the end of that conversation. So then she's like, hey, let me help you sit up. So then she helps me sit up and I'm feeling very woozy. And then she helps me stand up and I'm feeling even more woozy. So she kind of walks me out to this little waiting room, which is like really small and private, and it's just my boyfriend and my mom sitting in there. And she kind of talks to my mom and my boyfriend about like, you know, aftercare, because I'm obviously not really in a state to like be coherent and like understand what anything is. And I actually have a video of me in the car trying to talk with my gauze in, and it was very frustrating for me because I thought that I was very clear on what I was saying, but I was so drugged up that even watching this video, I don't know what I'm saying. Embarrassing. This is me trying to smile my finger in the finger thing. This one looks like my strength now. I look not great. The recovery was pretty like uneventful. I didn't actually swell that much. I have a few photos. My like this part kind of like right here got a little swollen. My lips kind of looked like I got injections, which, you know, I was working it. And this part of my face was a little swollen. But other than that, I didn't actually swell really at all, like not noticeably. And the only other thing I would say is that I had a lot of bruising like right in this area, and it was never like black bruising. It was just yellow, and it was weird. Like, it looked like I had like dipped my head into curry powder or something, and I don't know. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. And then the other thing is actually I had a really hard time talking for the first like 4 days. Even when I filmed my August favorites, I was actually having a really hard time like being like emoting like certain emotions and like certain facial features I normally can do easily. Like now I couldn't do, like smiling was very difficult for me. And so that was kind of interesting. Talking was really hard and I couldn't really open my mouth all that much, but that only lasted like 4 or 5 days. Food has been really annoying, to be honest with you guys, because I have so many allergies as it is. It's not like I can just live off of ice cream, because that just, I can't even eat ice cream. So I've really lived off of like really overcooked noodles. I love applesauce, and I've also been having a ton of smoothies with a spoon I usually eat them with, or like just drink them like a juice or something. So that's kind of what I've been eating. I really miss popcorn, and more even than that, I really miss rice. I eat rice like 4 or 5 times a week. It's like my favorite food. So that's been kind of hard. Overall, it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was gonna be. The pain on the first couple days was quite annoying and quite like debilitating. I was taking T3s, but I only took around 2 a day, and I cut them in half, and then I would take like half at a time, and that was sort of the max that I wanted to do. And I was also on antibiotics for preventing any infection. As well as in preventing infection, I was gargling salt water, or not gargling salt water, but like holding salt water in my mouth over my wounds for the first week. And then now I'm using the little like the squirt syringe thing that you like squirt over your holes to just get out any food debris that might be in there. So overall, you guys, it was not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. I feel like my surgery went really, really well. I'm really glad that I have this whole thing over with, and hopefully I never have to have like an oral surgery again. Although it's not that bad, it is really annoying to not be able to eat the things that you want to eat. That is my wisdom teeth experience. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you've had your wisdom teeth taken out and what your experience was like. And if you haven't had your wisdom teeth taken out, are you going to have them taken out? Do you have any wisdom teeth? Do you have the ability to keep them? That is everything for this video. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you all soon. Bye, guys.